Well, let me explain the method to sound like a jazz player, to read a lead sheet, without having, a lot of chops and being a real piano player, like if you're a horn player or you're a teacher that wants to accompany a singer or a student. And this method is over here, so you don't really have to read music, but you should be familiar with the song. So here's a standard jazz song, and the melody is going to be designated by the color pink on the graph. And the chord symbol is going to be designated by white. So together, I have that. And now, to fill out the chord and make it sound like a jazz chord, I'm going to add the 3 and the 7. And that's going to happen throughout the song, which, if you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter because it's on the graph. Okay, so this 3 is the black, and the gold is the 7. So together it sounds like this. And then I continue on. Back at the beginning here with A and C sharp with the E flat as the middle. So you can follow that G, D flat, D, E, and then the melody's E flat. So you see that if the melody is the 3 or the 7, I'm going to have only 3 notes in the chord instead of 4. Okay? Again, the melody's at the top. I'm going to the second ending here. And there you have the song. Tune up. So a little time. Bada boom. Okay, so for the next song in this series, it's a song called Blue and Green by Miles Davis from the album called Kind of Blue, the biggest selling jazz album of all time. So it's a very familiar song. Again, you should listen to the song. And I'm looking at the lead sheet, and this is the melody. And on the graph, that's designated by the color pink. And the chord is designated by the color white. So together that's... And so in between those, I'm always going to have the 3rd, which is designated by the color black, and the 7th designated by gold. In this song, on one chord, I have an exception where it's a D minor 6, so there is no 7. So the 6 takes the place of the 7. So altogether, that would sound like this. And this is the 6. And the other thing is, if you find your hands can't reach the spread, for instance here, instead of that I could hit. So it's the same 2 notes, but it's closer together. And now I'll take the coda. So when I say closer together, I mean, for instance, on the D flat 7 up here, I played it like this. So that's a big spread maybe for some people. So I can take this, the third, and just move it up an octave. So it's still exactly the same two notes. Instead of this, it would sound like that. Okay, so that's it for blue and green. Again, the method is you look at the graph here, and the melody's pink, and the third is black, and the 7 is gold, and the root is white. And the idea is just to play through it, you know, maybe once a day or so, and really get your ears acclimated, if you will, to the sound of a jazz chord, which is different than the sound of, say, you know, a pop chord, which is more triadic. And that's the difference when people say, you know, how do you play those jazz chords? It's inherent in the songs that I selected. That's why you should not play other songs, just the ones that I've selected, and by the time you're through the series, you will understand how to play piano and sound like a jazz player. So the next song in the series using this method for learning is Naima. Again, a very famous jazz song by John Coltrane and probably covered by many people. So again, you need to listen to the song to know how it goes. And again, the melody is the pink. So I'm reading it on the lead sheet, but I'm also seeing it here. So I need to know if the melody, like for instance, went up or down by knowing the song. And then I add the white, which is the root of the chord. And I don't pay any attention to, it says flat 9, or it says B flat pedal, sharp 11. I don't pay no attention to any of that. All I'm playing is this, because a method means it's the same thing on every song, and therefore you will eventually learn the theory behind the method by just playing it over and over again, rather than my lecturing and you're taking notes on it. So together we have now, with the 3 and the 7, the 3 being the black note and the gold being the 7. Repeats. So now I go to the bridge and it says B flat pedal, but I don't care about that. I'm interested in the melody. If you notice, this chord only has 3 notes in it because the melody is the 7. So if I was accompanying someone in this song, I wouldn't play the melody, I just play the chord. Okay, so I'm going to go to the ending now, which you repeat that 3 times, actually 4 times. Now I'm going to go to the coda, and this is my favorite part of the song here. So that probably seems to sound a little complicated, but it's actually the 3 and 7 are there, and the next chord, the 3rd is the melody. The next chord, the melody is the 7th, and so on. So all those chords contain 4 notes except when the melody is the 3 or the 7. And that's Naima by John Coltrane.